Have you ever thought about what your body is actually made of? I mean, really, if you could zoom in past the tissues and cells, you'd find a bustling city of microscopic machines. And those machines, the buildings, the workers, the transportation systems, they're pretty much all proteins. Today, we're going to explore the incredible molecular architecture of these proteins, the true building blocks of you, me, and every living thing. Alright, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll see what kind of jobs these proteins are actually doing. Then, we'll break them down to their fundamental parts. After that, we'll get into the 4 levels of how they're built, check out the 2 main design styles, and finish up by touring a couple of absolute protein masterpieces.
So, first things first, why should we care so much about proteins? Well, get this, they make up more than half of the dry weight of most of your cells, and the number of jobs they do is just staggering.
I mean, just look at this list. It's wild. Proteins are the enzymes running every single chemical reaction in your body. They're hormones like insulin. They're the hemoglobin carrying oxygen right now in your blood. They're the antibodies fighting off whatever bug is going around. They're collagen, literally holding you together. Even your hair and nails, that's keratin. The muscles that let you move, actin and myosin. They are, without a doubt, the workhorses of life.
Okay, so what in the world are these things made of? You know, to understand a skyscraper, you've got to understand the bricks it's built from. And for proteins, that single essential brick is the amino acid.
Every protein in existence starts with these little units or monomers. Think of them like individual Lego bricks. Now, there are 20 different kinds, but they all share this same basic backbone structure you see here. The really important part, though, is that R group. That's the variable bit. It's what makes each amino acid unique. Some are small, some are bulky, some carry a charge. And that unique personality is going to decide everything about how the protein folds up and what it ultimately does.
So how do you link these bricks together?
Well, they join head to tail in a process called a condensation reaction. Basically, a water molecule pops out and bam, a super strong link called a peptide bond is formed. You link 2, you get a dipeptide. You start linking a whole bunch of them, you get a polypeptide chain. And that chain is the foundation of our entire protein structure.
All right, we've got our chain of amino acids, but a simple chain can't do much. Now we move to the real construction site where this chain gets folded into an intricate, 3-dimensional masterpiece. And this happens in 4 distinct levels. Level 1 is the blueprint. It's the primary structure. This is simply the specific, unique order of amino acids in the chain. It might look like just a string of beads, but this sequence is everything. It dictates all the folding that's about to happen.
Listed are the amino acids for the heading discussed. Note them specifically since they are highly relevant for exams.
Take a look at this. This is the primary structure for an enzyme called ribonuclease. It's a precise sequence of 124 amino acids. Now, here's the crazy part. If you mess up just one of those amino acids, like a single typo in a long sentence, the entire protein can misfold and become totally useless. That's how critical the blueprint is.
Okay, moving on to level 2. The secondary structure. As this chain gets longer, it doesn't just flop around. Parts of it start to spontaneously coil or fold into simple, repeating patterns. And these patterns are held together by a bunch of weak hydrogen bonds.
These are the vital facts linked to this section. Study them thoroughly as they are vital for examination point of view.
The 2 most common shapes you'll see are the alpha helix, which is this really elegant corkscrew coil, and the beta pleated sheet, which looks kind of like a folded paper fan. These are the basic structural motifs, the first bit of real shape that our protein takes on. And now for level 3, the tertiary structure. This is where the magic really happens. This is where the whole chain, with all its little helices and sheets, folds and scrunches up on itself to form a very specific, complex 3D shape. This is the final functional form for most proteins. Its unique shape is what allows it to do its job.
This image shows it perfectly. This is myoglobin, a protein that stores oxygen in your muscles. You can see the alpha helices, shown here as these blue cylinders, all packed together in a super precise arrangement. It's this exact 3D structure that allows it to cradle an oxygen molecule.
So what locks this incredible origami into place? It's a whole mix of interactions between those R groups we talked about. You've got more hydrogen bonds, you've got ionic bonds, which are like little magnets, and you've got these really strong disulfide bonds that act like molecular staples, locking parts of the chain together.
But maybe the coolest force is what we call hydrophobic interactions. All the parts of the protein that hate water get shoved into the middle, away from the watery cell environment. This inward push is a huge factor in shaping the final protein. And finally, for some of the biggest and most complex proteins, there's one more level, the quaternary structure. This is when multiple, completely separate polypeptide chains, each with its own tertiary structure, come together to form one giant functional machine. It's a protein team-up.
So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this principle right here. It's the central idea of all protein biology. The simple linear sequence of amino acids, the primary structure, determines the complex 3D shape. And that shape, the structure, determines the protein's job, its function. Sequence determines structure, structure determines function. It's as simple and as profound as that.
Here are the core details regarding this topic. Review them intently for they are deemed crucial for your finals.
So now that we know how these proteins are built, layer by layer, we can see that they tend to fall into two major architectural categories. You can think of them as either compact functional machines or long structural cables. We call them globular and fibrous proteins. And the difference is pretty intuitive, right? Globular proteins are folded up into a rough ball-like or, well, globular shape. They're usually soluble in water, and they're the doers. They're the enzymes and transporters. Fibrous proteins, on the other hand, are long, rope-like strands. They're insoluble, and they're built for pure strength and structure.
These are the key points related to this topic. Focus on them carefully as they are considered essential for your exams.
Now this is so clever. This slide shows why globular proteins can dissolve in water. Remember how some R groups hate water? Well, the protein folds itself so that all those water-hating or hydrophobic bits are tucked safely away in the core, and all the water-loving or hydrophilic bits are on the outside. It's a brilliant bit of self-organizing design that lets it move around and do its job in the cell. All right, let's wrap this up by putting it all together. We're going to take a tour of two of the A-listers in the protein world to see all these principles in action. First, a classic globular protein, hemoglobin, and then the ultimate fibrous protein, collagen. So here's hemoglobin, our oxygen-carrying superstar. It's a perfect example of a globular protein with a quaternary structure. See, it's built from 4 separate chains, 2 of one kind called alpha and 2 of another called beta. Each of those 4 chains cradles a special little molecule called a heme group, and right in the center of that is an iron atom. That iron is what actually grabs onto an oxygen molecule. So one complete hemoglobin protein is basically a perfect little taxi that can carry 4 oxygen passengers at a time. And then you have collagen. This thing is a masterpiece of fibrous engineering. Just look at how its strength is built up in layers. You start with a single polypeptide chain. Then, 3 of those chains twist together to form a super strong triple helix, kind of like a rope. Then, those ropes bundle together into even thicker cables called fibrils. And finally, those fibrils are woven together to form the massive collagen fibers that give our skin, bones, and tendons their incredible strength. It's just amazing. So you see how it all connects? From the simple sequence of those amino acids, we get the strength of our bones, the ability of our blood to carry oxygen. Our entire biology is a story of this incredible molecular architecture, and it leaves you with a really powerful question to think about. If one tiny mistake can change everything, how many diseases that we struggle with are, at their core, just a single typo in a molecular blueprint?
Relevant keywords for this topic are shown on the screen, grouped by different examination boards. These terms need special attention during study as they are critical and should not be ignored under any condition. Along with this, past paper analysis is given for every board and type of paper. Be sure to review this thoroughly, as it will help improve your preparation significantly. Also focus on understanding the meaning and application of each keyword instead of memorizing them individually. Regular practice using these terms in past paper will increase your accuracy and exam success.
Please subscribe our channel to get more educational videos. Thank you.